Hi, I'm Janet Cousins, CEO for Act for Peace. Whether you're watching us from home or gathered together with your church community today, we're delighted to share Christmas with you. By coming together, we're continuing a tradition of Christian kindness that began more than 70 years ago with the Reverend Frank Byatt. And since that time, we've continued to share God's love with communities who have been exiled from their homes because of conflict and disaster. Sadly, many of those communities have been impacted this last year by COVID-19. Uprooted people around the world are in urgent need of food, shelter, and life-saving support. So your gifts to the Christmas Bowl this year will continue to support our local partners and community leaders respond to those urgent needs. And by acting together with uprooted people, we'll help create a world where they have a safe place to belong. In Indonesia, for example, your gifts will help families adapt to more frequent disasters, create more sustainable livelihoods, and hope for the future. In Gaza, your compassion will help children recover from the trauma of conflict through counselling and have the childhood they deserve. And in Ethiopia, your support will help refugee families manage the challenges that they've faced and have control of their lives once more. At a time when society seems so divided, your kind action through the Christmas Bowl is a powerful expression of the unity of Christ. We'd love you to join us in prayer for uprooted people, for our partners, our staff, and for the work that we're doing together. Please use the giving envelopes, and we encourage you to consider giving online. Thank you for sharing God's love through the Christmas Bowl.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to everybody this morning. It is great to see people here, wonderful to see the children and young people, and the brigades just do an amazing job, don't they? So what a privilege we have to be able to share worship with them this morning and with their families. With regard to our notice sheet, if you picked up a notice sheet at the front there, just going through briefly, cookbooks are out, and so it's and they're back at the back of the church, $12.50 for one book or two for $20. And I'll let you read through the other things. Yesterday, they had a Frontier Services fundraiser here, barbecue, lunch and some skits, and we saw talents from people that were hidden talents, but they were wonderful, wonderful fun, great laughs. And Faye has sent a message through to say thank you to everyone who supported the big Outback barbecue yesterday for Frontier Services, and the amount raised was $874. So a wonderful effort, and we thank Faye and Bev and their team for the work that they put into that.
Caboolture Uniting Church, and good morning to Girls Brigade. Good morning. And good morning, Boys Brigade. Most of you do not know me. Some of you might remember me back 8 months ago on the 21st of March, 8 months later. My name is Rusty Roo. So the minister, Reverend Jason, he's having a sleep. He's still sleeping. He's a very slack boy. And so I've come here to share some words about one of my favourite animals. But anyway, we'll start with our call to worship. And so we're going to begin our worship with a part of the Bible which is right at the end called Revelations. And let us hear these words. Then I saw on the right hand of the one seated on the throne a scroll with writings on the side and was sealed with 7 seals. Now, seals are not like animals, but it's like a ribbon. And then I saw this mighty angel. And the angel said with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break open and look in it?" But no one in heaven, no one in earth or under earth was able to open the scroll. I wept, I cried, and I wept, because no one was found worthy. But then an elder said, "Do not cry, because look, the Lion from the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has conquered, so that he is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals." So everyone, let us come now to praise God for this worthy one, who is the Lion of Judah, the King of the jungle, the King of the universe, the King of the sea, and the King of even me. Now, my little brigadiers, you might not know this song, so I'm going to teach you this song. And especially for you big kids, there's actions, okay? So the actions are like this. Are you ready? So just before we play it, it goes like this. It goes, "Who's the king of the jungle?" And then you've got to do like an owl. You've got to go, "Hoo, hoo." Can anyone do that? Go, "Hoo, hoo." That's right. Who's the king of the jungle? Who is the king of the sea? And then you're going to hear the words bubble, bubble, bubble. So I want you to be like a jellyfish, and I want you to go bubble, bubble, bubble. Everyone do that? Bubble, bubble, bubble. Who's the king of the universe? So make a nice big arc. And who's the king of me? Then it says, his name is Jesus. So you got to go, yes! Everyone do that? Yes! He's the king of me. He's the king of the universe, the jungle, I've got an action for, and the seas. When you do the sea, you got to do that. All right? So everyone remembers the actions? Big kids, do you remember the actions over here? Yes, good. Big kids up the back, you ready? Oh, everyone's ready. Okay, ready? So let's, you're allowed to stand if you want to and sing this song. All right. Or you can sing it if you want to. So, but you got to do the actions. All right. Hit it, Mr. Music.
Who's the king of the jungle? Who's the king of the sea? Bobble, bobble, bobble. Who's the king of the universe? And who's the king of me? I'll tell you, Jesus. Yes, he's the king of me. He's the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. Who's the king of the jungle? Who's the king of the sea? Bobble, bobble, bobble. Who's the king of the universe? And who's the king of me? I'll tell you, Jesus. Yes, he's the king of me. He's the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. Who's the king of the jungle? Who's the king of the sea? Bobble, bobble, bobble. Who's the king of the universe? And who's the king of me? I'll tell you, Jesus. Yes, he's the king of me. He's the king of the universe, the jungle and the sea. He's the king of the jungle. He's the king of the sea. Bobble, bobble, bobble. He's the king of the universe, and he's the king of me. Bobble, 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 bobble.
All right, boys and girls, now that we've prayed about this line of, know about this line of Judah, let's sing, let's pray, and we're going to pray how much we really love the line of Judah. So, everyone, yours, O Lord, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. Everything in the heavens and on earth is yours, O Lord, and this is your kingdom. We adore you as the one who is over all things. Wealth and honour come from you alone, for you rule over everything. Power and might are in your hand, and at the discretion people are made great and people are given strength. Amen. Okay, let's sing the next song. So we're going to keep this theme about the Lion of Judah, because we're going to hear him more, possibly about lions. So let's get ready to sing this song.
Let's stand and sing together. You're the Lion of Judah, the Lamb that was slain. You ascended to heaven and evermore will reign. At the end of the age, when the earth you reclaim, you will gather the nations before you, and the eyes of all men will be fixed on the Lamb who was crucified. With wisdom and mercy and justice you'll reign at the Father's side, and the angels will cry, Hail the Lamb, who was slain for the world, ruling forever. And the earth will reply, You shall reign as the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords. There's a shield in our hand and a sword at our side. There's a fire in our spirits that cannot be denied, because the Father has told us for these you have died. Kings of all men need to hear of the Lamb who was crucified, who descended to hell and was raised up to reign at his Father's side, and the angels will cry, Hail the Lamb, who was slain for the world, ruling power. And the earth will reply, You shall reign as the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords.
All right, children, we live in a time of a troubled world, and sometimes we come from all these different places. So let us come now, and we're going to pray for the times of our blunders and our stuff-ups. And so let us come to God who protects us like a lioness. So everyone, let us pray. Come on, pray. God of all the saints, God of all the sinners, hear our prayer. We would be saint-like, holy, good, patient, loving, but we end up feeling more like sinners, full of failures of morality, selfishness, and being mean. Perhaps you see us simply as human, as beloved and flawed, trying and failing, and succeeding. In all of this, forgive the wrong that we have done, and bless the good that we have accomplished. So keep on loving us and helping us and moulding us more and more into the image of Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen. My little friends, this is the good news that the love of God is way beyond measure, and you are all included in that love. So know that you are forgiven, and you are free to love, and you are free to serve. Hallelujah. Thanks be to God. And so in return, when we thank God for our forgiveness, it's natural for us is to give our offering and give a gift back to God. And so, God, you have given each of us gifts to use as members of the body of Christ. So here are our gifts, the work of our hands, the work of our hearts, and the work of our lives. We pray that they may help to bring the good news of Jesus to our world, today and always, here and everywhere. Amen.
We are reading from Ezekiel chapter 19, verses 1 to 7. Take up a lament amongst the princes of Israel and say, what a lioness was your mother amongst the lions. She lay down amongst them and reared her cubs. She brought up one of her cubs, and he became a strong lion. He learnt to tear the prey, and he became a man-eater. The nations heard about him, and he was trapped in their pit. They led
All right,
him
boys and
on
girls.
hooks
Now,
to
as I
the
said
land
before,
of Egypt.
my name is Rusty Roo, and for
When she
those, you
saw
shouldn't speak
her
to
hope
strangers, and so I
unfulfilled,
just want to let you know that
her
my name is Rusty
expectations
Roo,
were gone.
and I've got a
She took
family,
another
so my
of
wife's
her
name,
cubs
her
and
name
made
is called
him a
Kangaroo,
strong lion.
and I've got three
He
boys, my
prowled
oldest boy's
amongst the
called
lions.
Jackaroo,
For he was now
I've got another
a
girl, her
strong
name's
lion.
Jillaroo,
He learned
and I've got
to
another
tear
little
the
boy
prey,
called Ool.
and he became
Uluru.
a man-eater. He
So that's
broke
my
down
family.
their strongholds
And boys and girls,
devastated
I
their
want to
towns.
talk about
The
one of
land
my
and all
favourite
who were in
animals.
it were terrified.
Now, some of
by
you might
his
remember back in
roar.
March I spoke about the eagle, but
This
today
is the word of
I
the Lord.
want to talk about
Thanks be
lions.
to God.
Who like? Oh, there's a little roar. We just had a roar of a little cub. Who here likes lions? Who likes lions? Oh, we got a lion here. Boys, who likes lions? Oh, we got a few hands over here. I want to tell you some things about lions, and especially for your big kids, because you might know everything about lions, but you don't. Okay, the first thing about lions is they're called the king of the jungle. Now that's very weird, because a lot of the lions do not live in jungles. A lot of our lions live in plains of long, long grass. The only place where you find a lion in the jungle is the Gir National Forest in India. Who knows where India is? Oh, some of us do. Good. So that's the only jungle where they live in. All right, boys and girls, how many people are in your family? How many people are in your family? 5? 4? How many are in your family? You need to count. Oh, I'll give you. You need some more fingers. How many fingers do you need? More than that? Cucumber. 6, 7. Oh, we got 7. Lions. Oh, you got 4. And okay, 4. Tyler's got 4. Lions have a big family. Lions live in a family of 10 to 15. I've run out of fingers. So they have 1, 2. That's how many lions are in a family. And what do you call a group of lions? Do you know what you call a group of lions? A group of lions is called a pride. Tick for the brigade, girl brigade leaders. They know. 10 to 15 people in the family. Now, how old do you think a lion lives to? What's the oldest age of a lion, do you think? Okay, who here is 12? Put your hand up if you're 12 years old. Who's here 15? Anyone 15? Oh, there's some up there. Who here is over 20? Okay, if you're a lion, you're in a bit of trouble because lions only live to 10 to 12 years. So there's only some of the age of some of her here. Other thing about lions. Who knows how fast a lion can run? Oh, hang on. How much? 74? 74 kilometres per hour. That is, oh, that's good. I'll take you that. I've written down 81. And boys and girls, do you know how fast 81 or 74 kilometres is? It is very fast. A lion can run faster than me riding down Mount Tibrogargan. That's how fast a lion can run. They can outrun me on a bike. But, boys and girls, there's two things I really want to tell you about lions. The first thing, what else do you think a lion is famous for? Roar. Yes. A lion's roar can be heard for 8 kilometres. So what that means is, if I was a lion and I was having a roaring here, that means people at Wamiran could hear me, people at Alimba could hear me, and people down at Morayfield and Burpengary could hear my roar. The roar travels a long way. And boys and girls, I want to give you a demonstration of what a roar sounds like. For those who have not seen a lion or heard of a lion sounds like this. Are you ready? We had a baby lion, but a lion sounds like this. It sounds like this. It goes meow. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That was a baby lion. This is a lion. A lion goes. Was that pretty good? Was that good? No. One thing about about lions is their roar. Their roar travels a long way. Now we're going to come back to that. So the roar travels a long way. The second thing, oh, who's that idiot? Who's this guy? Yeah, what's his name? Rusty Roo. Okay. There's a roar. Now, boys and girls, what else do we know about lions? Now, here we have some pictures, and I may need some big kids to help us out, especially Isaac, because I've seen him at one of these places. Do you know these pictures are pictures of lions of different sports clubs? Can we name the sports club? So, starting with the top left, the orange one. What team is that one? Yep. The orange one. All close? Brisbane. Roar. Tigers? Who said tigers? We're talking about lions. Okay. Top left is the Brisbane Roar, the soccer team. Okay, let's go down. Now, this is what happened. The one on the top right. Does anyone know what that is? Isaac? Detroit Lions. Thank you. That's Gridiron. The bottom left is a soccer club in the UK. Does anyone know which soccer club? It's Millwall. It's the Millwall Lions. And the bottom right, and I know, I'm not going to ask Isaac because I've seen him here. What's the bottom right one, girls? The Brisbane Lions. What sport is Brisbane Lions? AFL. Good. So, boys and girls, question. Why do sports teams choose lions as their mascot? What is so special about lions? Or what does lions depict? What do the lions show? If I'm a team and I want to choose a lion, why would I choose a lion? Yes. Thank you, Cucumber. The lion is the king. The lion is the king. And so if you're king, you are what? Fierce. Lions are fierce. Boys, what about lions? Lions are strong. Little body behind. What is about lions? They are loud. That's right. They take no prisoners. Big kids. What else do you know about lions? Big one? They're top of the food chain. Kids, some of the words I like is powerful. They are royal. They are majestic. They are fierce. They are at the top of the food chain. And they are the best. A lot of these teams are the best. So these are things that when we talk about kings and lions, that's the words we need to think about. Because today in the church, it's called Christ the King Sunday. And it's all about being a king. Now, who has seen the movie The Lion King? Okay, who likes that part right at the start where Mustafa comes out, he has a little baby lion, Simba, and remember when he puts the baboon puts some paint on his head, and then you remember the daddy goes, do you remember that? Who loves that bit? Who cried when did anyone cry? Okay, I cried. I love that part. But boys and girls, when I was your age, there was another movie about a king. When I was your age, Disney had a movie. And the movie was called Robin Hood. And in this movie, Robin Hood was played by a wolf. But there was two other characters in Robin Hood. And the one on the right was King Richard. And he was the true king of England, and he is a lion. See? And look, he's big, he looks strong. But then there's also another king, but he was actually Prince. His name was Prince John. And Prince John thought he was the king as well. What can you see? What do both kings have? What do they have on their head? A crown. So that shows that they are a king. So boys and girls, when we think about lions, we think about kings. And when we think about kings, we think about being the top, being the best, being the strongest, being the mightiest, being fierce. But the other thing about kings is that they protect everyone in their kingdom, and especially in their pride. Now, why I mention this, because I want to come back to our story today in Ezekiel. Because in Ezekiel, he was telling a story about this great king called King David. And he was one of the greatest kings in Israel. He was great. But then after him, there wasn't any good kings. And so the story talks about one of the kings was one of his princes. And one of his princes thought he was a great king, but he wasn't. And he eventually got captured by the Pharaoh in Egypt. There was another king who came along who thought he was really good, but he wasn't very good, and he got captured by the king in Babylon. But then another king came along. And boys and girls, a king came along, and what happened was, just like a little young cub, they took him and they hooked him away. And this little king got hooked away on something like that. Can you see up there? What's the big thing up there? Cross. So can you think of a prince who was hooked up on a cross? Does anyone know anyone? Who was hooked up on the cross? Jesus. Correct. But the difference about this king is that they thought that king was finished, but he wasn't. This king is so special today because the king is still alive with us today. The king still reigns over his kingdom. Our king still is fierce and strong. Our king protects us as well. Just like Mustafa holding up his little baby cub. So kids, I just want to come back to two things. The king, the Lion of Judah, one of the greatest things is his rule. That his words still talk to people today. His words talks to people not only in Australia but also in other countries like China and North Korea. But his words also speaks to me. One of my favourite words that the king said to me was, he said, you know, Rusty Roo, when you speak in front of people, it's not about you. But the king said to me, he said, you know what? You need to listen to this, that my strongest words are, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. They are roaring words that talk to me today, and they're roaring words that still talk to many of us today as well. Jesus' words keep going and going and going. But the last thing is, Jesus is our King. He's more than a prince, he's our King. He's our protector. He looks after us. He's strong and mighty, and he looks after us when we're in trouble, like his pride. But the best part of all, Jesus loves each one of you. Just like Mustafa and Simba. That even, if you can remember that picture, every time that God looks at you, he thinks you're special. Each one of you are so special that, like the king, he holds you up like a baby cub. Even you big kids, he reckons you're so special that he'll hold you up like his favourite cub. And big kids over here, he thinks you're so special, he'll hold you up as his favourite cub. So boys and girls, today I want you to remember that the king of the jungle is who? Who's the king of the jungle? The king of the jungle is... Amen. What I'd like to do now is, can I ask Adrian and Jeanette to come up, because they're going to tell some stories on what's been roaring in Boys and Girls Brigade.
On Tuesday night, we have our award service, and you'll see most of the girls aren't wearing a sash today because I have them at home. I have sewn on 120 badges in the last couple of weeks, so that way I can give the girls their sashes. I've got a couple of girls that won't be here on Tuesday night, so I'm going to give them their sashes today. So can I have Nora? And Nora's only been with us this term, and she absolutely loves Girls Brigade. I think you do you? Yeah, that's what I thought. And I said to Nora at the start of the term, I said, if you come every single night, I can give you a badge. So she has. So Nora's getting her Girls Brigade Award number 1.
Yay!
Can I have Tanika? And Tanika's getting her red circle, her gold circle, her Girls Brigade Award number 3, and her Operation Reach Out Africa. And her sister Lila is getting a red star, a blue circle, a Girls Brigade Award 3, and Operation Reach Out Africa. Rusty,
Oh, yes.
please. Back in March, I think, or sometime like that, the two older girls went and did a course down at our Girls Brigade head office, and so they did a community braid, and they had to go and visit a community organisation and help do all that sort of stuff. So Khalees is here today, and she'd love to come up. There she is.
No. Come on, Khalees. Right, everyone on count 3, go, yay!
Yay! Part of the Girls Brigade is when you become a member, we ask you to make a promise, and I make a promise as captain to help these girls see who Jesus is, which is the main point of Girls Brigade. This is why we're different from brownies or Girl Scouts or whatever like that. We have God as the centre of our world, basically.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay, so can I have Michaela?
Well, anyone stand up? Anyone make a row? There's a few of you.
There is a few.
Yeah, and then we'll applaud, okay?
Nora.
Nora! Hey, Nora! There you go.
Lucy.
Lucy, where's Lucy?
There she is.
Lucy!
I think she went outside.
Oh, there you are.
Oh.
I couldn't see you, Lucy.
April.
April? Oh, I know April. Hello, April. There you are, April.
Amani.
Amani. Oh, there she is. Hello, Amani.
And Taya.
Taya. Yeah, come on. All right, everyone, we're going to do a Mexican wave. So everyone say yay. So when we start here, we're going to go yay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay! Once more for the girls. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Because Rusty can do this. Ready? Go! Yay! Congratulations, girls.
No, you got to stay here.
Oh.
Poor old Rusty's never done this before.
No, it's been a long
except
time.
the last church parade. Can you read?
Yes, I can read. The motto of the Girls Brigade is seek, serve, and follow Christ. Do you, as members of Girls Brigade, promise to do your best to keep this motto as a guide for life? We do. Yes. So I welcome you as members of our second Caboolture company. Everyone look caps. And you know, girls, you know what the best part is? Not only do you have to make a promise, but someone else has to make an important promise as well. Good. I ask you, Captain Jeanette, to accept at our hands in the name of this church the responsibility of training these girls so that the promise that they have made may be worthily fulfilled. We promise on our part to support you and your fellow leaders with our prayers and our cooperation so that the Girls Brigade may be achieved.
In my name and the name of my fellow leaders, they're part of it as well, I accept this responsibility.
Will you, members of the congregation, stand with the leaders and the girls of this company while we dedicate them in prayer? Father, we just thank you for the leadership, the training, the discipleship, and the teaching of you amongst our Girl Brigade company. And Father, we just thank you as a church that we are here to support them in prayer. We're here to support them in all their activities. And we also thank the parents who come to support the Girls Brigade as well. And Father, we just thank you for these promises that the leaders and the girls have made. And we ask them that you're always, wherever they go, that they know your roar and that you're always walking with each of these ladies and each of these girls. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, girls.
Okay, so we've had a pretty busy year in Boys Brigade. As Rusty said, our last church parade was in like May or June. It's been a long time, so we've had a few things that we've gotten up to. So one of our big parts of our year is some of our battalion competitions with other brigade companies. Now, our boys like to win, but my encouragement of our boys is to just always do your best. So we've had a few really good results. Billy Carts has always won. We've had our battalion, our state, and we also decided to travel out to Crow's Nest and go to another battalion soapbox derby, which was a lot of fun. We've also had an archery competition. Somehow, even with doing practice, we were okay, which is surprising. It's all good in practice, and then all of a sudden the boys just get there and they just think, let's go for it. We also got to go on an expedition up to Lake Catharaba, where we started right at the bottom and we paddled 30 kilometres north. And we slept really early, and it was a long paddle. Considering we hadn't really done any practice before then, to jump straight in the boats, we were glad that the paddle back was only 6. Coming up, so our awards night is actually on the 3rd of December, and then we've just got a couple more events. So next weekend, Saturday, we have our fundraiser, our last fundraiser of the year, where we actually man a gate at the rodeo all day. It's good fun. We don't actually do any other fundraisers other than manning a gate at the show for 2 days and manning a gate at the rodeo. That's it. So all we require from that is participation so we can actually do the stuff. And then next weekend on Sunday afternoon, we're going to the park. So I found a nice little mountain bike track that the boys, as soon as I said go to the park, they looked at me really dull. And then as soon as I said there was a mountain bike track, everyone seemed interested. The one thing I would like to add is Andrew, who has been looking after our seniors for the last couple of years, at the end of this year, he's actually finishing up. For the boys, it's a chance to say thank you. So he's still going to be around, pop up when he can. On a full-time role, he's sort of hanging up the boots. So for the boys, make sure you say thank you. He has put a lot of work in and he's done really well with all you guys. So
let's now come to a time where we should thank our brigade mission and also the work of our leaders. So let's come now to a time of prayer, of thanksgiving, and also let's be praying in intercession as well. So let us now pray. King Jesus, the Lion of Judah, we thank you that you are a king who's not in some far off distant land. We praise you that you are not surrounded by bodyguards or an army that keep us away from you. Thank you that you are not like that, but you are a king who loves, adores, and ventures out and walks amongst the kingdom's residents, regardless of their race, gender, or age. And as you walk amongst us, your holy words have roared across this great Southland, and you have called men and women to imitate you and your roar amongst the youth in our communities, inspired in the ministry of both Girls Brigade and Boys Brigade. In this space, we pray for all our youth in our own families, our church family, including our brigade family. As they mature in life, may they know your kingly ways of love, hope, grace, teaching, obedience, so that one day they can lead their family just like you. In this space, we pray for our leaders and our seniors within our brigade ministries. Like your disciples, you are continually developing them spiritually to be steadfast, focused, strong, and sensitive to the needs of our young cubs. In this space, we pray for our brigade captains in Jeanette and Adrian. Both Matthew and Luke record the words of Jesus to the disciples where Jesus warns, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So as Jeanette and Adrian provide the final preparations for this year, we pray for the workers to come and aid in leading, to lead our young cubs from the prowling wolves of this world. And we also pray that our captains are not distracted from the noise of this world, and that you encourage them to find the time to be still, to hear your mighty roar, so that they can discern your direction in 2022 for their respective pride of girls or their pride of boys. Amen. And boys and girls, just before we finish, we're going to sing a song which is what we call like our promise. What do we believe in as a church? And what do we believe in as Christ and the Lion of Judah? So let us sing this song, King of Kings, before we march out of here.
Let's all stand and sing for our final song. In the darkness we were waiting, without hope, without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes, to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word, from a throne of endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation, you did not despise the cross. For even in your suffering, you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till that stone was moved for good, and the Lamb had conquered death, and the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who'd come to the Father are restored, and the Church of Christ was born. Then the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of old shall not kneel, shall not faint. By his blood and in his name, in his freedom I am free, for the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of kings. Praise forever to the King of kings.
So just before we leave, loving God, we thank you for hearing our prayers, feeding us with your word, and encouraging us in our meeting all together. So take us and use us to love and to serve all the people, and in the power of your Spirit and the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, the Lion of Judah, our Lord and King. Amen.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching, we are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God.
Okay, you ready? Here we go.
We are moving in the lion's roar. 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 We are moving, moving, we are moving. We are moving in the lion's roar. We are moving, moving, we are moving. We are moving in the lion's roar.
But could I ask you to remain standing as we return the colours back to our brigade companies?